So we open the episode with Marlo Amos saying she's getting those boys back. We gonna call them the Bounce Back Boys. Kenya's packing her tackiest garments. Drew calls Kenya while she's getting her eyelashes done and says, "Did Sanya have too many rules?" Of course, Kenya's not gonna take the rules seriously, so she gonna show up ill-clad and unprepared. But now they want to whine about Sanya's tacky party. It was very 8th grade graduate way. Drew says she ain't got a problem with Sanya and she can't help if she triggers them. How would you trigger them? What do you have that they want? A faulty marriage? Aliases? Cheap wigs. A cheap wig would trigger me. Makes me itch. So Kenya's cousin ain't feeling well, but she ain't gonna tell nobody she's showing up solo. Drew says, well, you shouldn't feel pressured to bring anybody. I mean, if you're going to be doing couples activities, you don't want to be the odd one out. But Kenya likes being the odd one out because she doesn't need a man, and you don't, especially the way you run them off. You don't need to waste their time. Drew, your wig lift is too cheap if your husband has to turn the air on just to keep your wig from slipping. If you could just spend $10 more at the beauty supply, your wig could actually stay on rather than glide around your head like a hairy frisbee. Lord, she said, run your fingers through my hair. Them fingers couldn't crawl through. They had to fight. They left that hair with a gnarl. Honey, that ain't nappy, that's crappy. So Ralph is backpedaling out of adopting Josiah because the pappy don't want it. I don't care about the absentee, but hey, he better than me. So we meeting with the publisher so that Drew won't get upset about him working with another woman. Drew, Ralph always does things without telling you. I don't know why you're surprised he wrote this book behind your back, but about your child. However, Drew wants to know how she gonna write a foreword for a book she ain't read. Well, it's about your child, so just talk about your child. We got drama before we go. Sanya's husband and left his passport. Oh, Marlo Amos has brought her blouse. Kenya couldn't even get a blouse or leotard to join her on her trip. Marlo said it's better than bringing some DICK. You're not bringing a man because you would never expose your clients. So we get to Jamaica and Sanya asked where's Kenya's +1 and she said, oh, she got sick. Sanya said, you ain't never had a +1. No, her blouse. Her blouse, Brandon, was the best +1. I mean, him and Apollo was getting it in before they were getting it on. Candy's right. Marlo Amos will never bring up a breath about her relationship, not a peep, but always talking about somebody else's. However, Todd should know how to pronounce platonic. Candy, she ain't bringing the sponsors on the trip because they're not sponsors, they're clients. They're paying for discretion, not just puss. Sheree ain't got no man either. Lord, Kenya trying to trap a man and Candy like, I need to eat. You eat all the time. Kenya rarely gets to have good sex. There's sex, period. Okay, Kenya. Are you here by yourself? Oh, my brother's with me. That's not what I mean. All right. At least you're direct. Kenya said you gotta go half groove. I guess that's why you have half a man. Marlo Amos wants to say, oh, Kenya approached him. She ran after him. Well, Marlo, you don't run after men because they find your number on Backpage. Oh, God. Sheree really said my poo-poo don't stink. And the delusions continue. All right, we handed out room keys and Sanya's giving them out according to who's been nice to her. So Drew is going to be in a closet. Me and Candy said the same thing. Did you hire this actor from England? Did you hire him? He's already texting you. He's excited about dinner. No, he's excited about being on Housewives. Because you already said in an interview this wasn't a love connection. Because I'll say this, you know how to rent a man, honey. You know how to rent a man. You probably got on central casting right as you were getting down there to make sure he was ready. Oh, Lord. You can already tell ain't no chemistry between Kenya and her actor. Y'all should have rehearsed. Kenya gonna say, I'm usually never wrong about a man. You're never right about him either. Sanya said, I'm gonna be the bigger woman and not put Drew in the closet since we on the good foot right now. Marlo said, Harpo, who this man? Well, Marlo, where's yours? Kenya gonna say it's not like I'm introducing him as my fiance. You didn't introduce us when you had a fiance. You had been in a fake marriage for a year before we met Mark. So at dinner, Senior brings up Ralph's book and asks him, "You're gonna adopt those kids, right? Why would you, of all people who are about to bounce your boy back to your brothel, would speak on anyone else's adoption or family situation?" Marlo gonna say, "How you gonna adopt? Then you're not. The same way you bounce them boys back." Candy said, "I can't believe you're talking Marlo and you just kicked them kids out."
Marlo Amos said, "Well, you know, Candy, you always put your mama before your man, so worry about that."
Candy said, "Well, my man doesn't feel belittled." Tots felt belittled, chastised, and almost chased off. "Well, you're out here kicking it and you sent your kids back, so you can't say nothing to Ralph."
"Well, you take care of a man, your family. So your mother's a liar? You're not taking care of Todd?"
"Don't come after Heifer Joyce. She gonna get with you, Marlo."
Marlo said, "Well, you know, Candy, I'd never disrespect my husband for my mother
If I had one." Todd says Marlo bought her way into the circle. Marlo said, "Well, I came with Phaedra." Todd is saying, "I was doing production. I know they shoehorned you in." Marlo said Todd said Candy was a country bumpkin. Todd ain't never say that. That's a you read. Marlo really saying Candy ain't nobody. Who are you? Marlo is making the dinner interesting. I will say that Marlo is showing up to work. She got Candy riled up because you don't talk about her man. Kenya said Marlo out here being flown to sprinkle baby powder on old white men. That's her worldwide. Why baby powder? Oh, no, Candy got the breakup card because when we was in Japan, you could put my songs on karaoke, not just what I sang, but what I heard too. Candy, don't let this prostitute get you pressed. So Candy tells Marlo, "Bye, lonely lady." I think Marlo's a happy hooker, not a lonely lady. That gives me more Kenya.
It looks like a pump, but it feels like a sneaker. It looks like a pump, but it feels like a sneaker. It looks like a pump, show bump. It looks like a pump, show bump. It looks like a pump, but it feels like a sneaker. It's been in my head for years. I figured I'd do something with it today. I had a few moments. From the streets of New York all the way out to Vegas, it doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're famous, because you can't get someone pregnant in the anus. No, you can't get someone pregnant in the anus. Yeah. Backpedal and pussy pop. Backpedal and pussy pop.